Call yourself conservative, call yourself obsessive, call yourself moderate, liberal or progressive. You can call yourself a Christian, Muslim or a Jew, and claim to believe everything in your Bible is true. But if you want peace like a river to roll down in your soul, gotta be a little bold, want Jesus to forgive you. You can hesitate, meditate, levitate, hallucinate, and try every single lie someone says is true. If you want peace like a river to roll down in your soul, gotta be a little bold, want Jesus to forgive you. You can claim to be a scientist, have a philosophy that's a little odd, strut around on campus grounds.
Hi everyone, this is Albert Torcaso, and I'm on location at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall located in Pittsburgh, PA. For fellow Pittsburghers, you know probably where it is. For people around the nation, it is located in Pittsburgh, PA in the Oakland side. It's actually called the Soldiers and Sailors National Memorial Hall. It may actually have a different name. I think it's also Military Hall. However, when you are on the exterior of this honored place that honors our heroes, our fallen soldiers, and living also, when you're here, you get to read a speech by Abraham Lincoln if you choose to do so. It's on the outer wall on the right-hand side. And that speech speaks to a very high ideal, a very important one. And it speaks to our nation's existence, why it existed, why it still exists, and why it's important. Well, today, after Chris Weis or Annette Mendel introduced me on the live portion of the show, today we're going to explore why the words of Abraham Lincoln have never really been fulfilled by any Congress, Republican or Democrat, by any president, Republican or Democrat, or previous other parties, which we did have before the Democrats and the Republicans. We actually had the Whig Party and a few others. And none of them have ever fulfilled the ideals, not only of the words of Lincoln, but the fundamental core of the Declaration of Independence, of the Bill of Rights, and finally our Constitution. So therefore, this being the case, that still exists in the year 2009, more than 232 years ago when we formed our nation, since this still exists, a patriot as myself must also tell you that we live inside a nation that is perceived to be free and perceived to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all Americans. But in fact, my friends, we live in a constitutional illusion. Yes, my friends and family, we are living in a constitutional illusion. You see, friends, we're going to talk about segments of society who don't have their rights protected, of inequality, of unfair laws, and laws that keep people from pursuing their fair chance in the race of life. Yes, America, I love America, and I am surely a patriot. But if we live in a constitutional illusion, it is the duty and right of all Americans, or the right and the duty of all Americans, to point out these unfortunate inaccuracies. And today, we are going to take you down a path that will expose the constitutional illusion.
Good evening, Pittsburgh and America. I am Chris Weis, the co-host, and I am going to introduce you to you as the host of Humanity Matters, Albert Torcaso.
Hi, everyone. I have so many papers and so many topics to do today. There's no way that we are going to cover all of it. So, bottom line is, I'm going to kind of have to pick and choose and to ration what we talk about. However, understand this. We are living in a constitutional illusion, as I said on the tape roll. And the point of this show, and all shows that I do, is to improve on our fellow Pittsburghers' lives and, of course, our fellow Americans' lives. And you know what? There's a lot of platitudes that politicians use. There's a lot of platitudes that we can use. But I don't want words, my friends. You know what I want? Action. So, with that in mind, let me just first say to some of the people that I have met, I want to say hello to the gentleman that I met in a local pizza shop, and I want to say hello to every viewer that I have now and that I have had in the past. I want you to know that this will be another controversial show, and it will probably offend some religious people. However, do not leave this show, because once you hear the entire story or the reasoning behind it, not only will you not be offended, but I predict you will agree with it. Because here's the thing, America, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in America, here's the thing. We are all Americans. It doesn't matter what race we are, what nationality we are, or any other way that we can divide each other, separate and segregate. The bottom line is we're all Americans. And we all need to work together when it benefits all of us. Having a constitutional illusion benefits none of us. And probably I'm going to turn some of the show over to Annette and also some of it over to Chris, basically because I got to kind of try to figure out what I'm going to do next. What I will tell you is we will definitely talk about the disabled Americans not being allowed to have their rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We will definitely talk about this abomination, the Real ID Act. And we will definitely talk about how Sam's department store, out at the name, I did. Sam's department store is now taping all of its shoppers, and they're doing a little something about it, and it ain't nice. So, you know what? Before we get to the Real ID Act and the really extremely heavy stuff, let's throw Annette into the ball game and let her tell us what Sam's department store is doing to you. Go for it, Annette. Let us know what Sam's is doing to everybody.
Sam's policy of taping customers is